Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. We're going to do technical analysis, gold and silver. We do our daily update. We're going to go over the dollar, 10-year, and then into some of the ETFs and then the individual companies and kind of get a look. I'm going to do a short-term picture and kind of a medium-term picture of a lot of this stuff and reiterate kind of the market conditions. So here we go. Again, this is just my financial opinion. It's not advice. Let's jump in here. So here's the dollar index. We are in a downtrend. We're down 0.16% today. You can see the downtrend line, and this thing is continuing in its downtrend. So that looks good for a weaker dollar. Gold likes weaker dollar. We're moving on up with gold just a little bit. It's creating this pattern on a daily basis. And hopefully we can break this thing to the upside and move on up past 1800, hopefully. So that's the short term. Looking at the dollar, and I've got stuff written all over this, we basically came to an intersection point. We had a ascending wedge pattern which broke to the downside. We came back up a little, and usually what happens is we fall back over, and we've got a wick at the top here. We've got a resistance line coming through here. We have a resistance line coming through here. So we kind of came into it, too much resistance, and we're pulling back. We ended today at 92.50 because this is 1 day delayed. We're at 92.50, and I think we're probably going to see continued pressure to the downside because we're still in a downtrend line. We'll see what happens tomorrow and where it closes and how this all plays out. But we're right at an intersection point where all these lines and resistance and support lines all cross. I think the momentum's to the downside in the short term. The 10-year yield, again, we broke out of this downtrend line to the upside, and we pulled back to the support line. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow, if the support line holds or if we break to the downside. The reason this is important is the 10-year yield gives us signals of what people think in the market, what the bond market thinks. If this thing starts diving, they're afraid of something and people are running into bonds. If people are selling bonds and yields go higher, it means that people are afraid of inflation. They think the economy is improving. So this is just another indicator to say, look, we broke its downtrend line. People are getting more worried about inflation or more positive about the economy. But we'll see where it goes from here because we're right at the support line right now. And we have another support line right underneath it. Another intersection point that we're at. Now, gold's at an intersection point as well. We've got the long-term trend line here, kind of on a medium term. We broke the short-term trend line through here. And we've got this resistance line coming across at 1840. We got to see which way this thing breaks. Looking at this and just by staring at where we're right at the bottom support line is where we're at right now. Looking at the short term for gold, we have a bullish engulfing. Bullish engulfings usually means we have momentum to the upside. It's a reversal candlestick. So we came down and we're going to reverse higher and probably try to break this 1840. That's what it looks like to me on this short term chart. And we'll see what resistance we come into at 1840. Silver, on the other hand, on the medium term, looks like it broke to the downside already, and we're struggling to move higher. So short term, I see weakness. Or I should say midterm, I should say. This is a medium term chart. Zooming in on it, we still have these two large down days, a reversal candlestick here. We've got nice big upward buying pressure in the short term, small sell-offs. We encountered a little bit of sell-off here. If gold remains strong, I think silver will remain strong. We did break this downtrend. Let's throw the trend line in there to show you guys what I'm talking about. We did break this. We're at that resistance, I should say support line right here. We got to move and jump off this. That's what I want to see tomorrow. Platinum, I took a midterm, kind of a midterm look at this. We could go down to 900 in this range in here. Potentially. Depends what gold does. But this is the support line here. I'm a huge bull on platinum long term. If we see this down here, I am a big buyer. I'm going to load up again. Well, big buyer with what funds I have. And this is on the short-term platinum. It doesn't look too bad. I think it's just waiting to see what gold does and the dollar. Looking at gold price from a long-term perspective, this is when it performed incredibly well, were these three areas. Now, the third one is yet to be determined. It's these two areas when it was freely traded. I'm going to overlay these two on our real estate housing starts. Expansion phase of real estate in these two areas. Expansion phase of real estate. And we're going into an expansion phase of real estate. At the beginning of each one of these bull markets, we threw a buy signal for commodities. Buy signal, buy signal, buy signal. And shortly thereafter, gold price responded upward. Upward here, upward in about 2000, and I think we're going to see an upward move. 70, upward move. 2000 was a little bit delayed behind this buy signal, but we went up. And then we're throwing a buy signal, and we haven't yet seen gold rocket higher yet. The conditions are all there, and they match history. And these red stars is the commodity to S&P 500 ratio. It was low in 1970, it was low in 1999, and it was low in 2020. And those are our buy signals, and they overlay perfectly with an expansion phase of real estate in every single cycle. And we're going into an expansion phase of real estate right now. This is a 100% success rate when looking at valuations and the expansion phase of real estate, and for gold and precious metals to go higher. Will this repeat? That's the question. The conditions are all there. And this is what I look at, and this is why I'm a major bull of this, because when we are in an expansion phase of real estate, it is inflationary, it raises interest rates, and gold goes up every time. That we've seen in history. Or every time we've looked at it, at least from that perspective. The XAU to gold ratio, we are coming down into a descending wedge. We broke to the upside, and now we're looking good. We're moving sideways. We're looking for gold to get stronger. On the short term, zooming in on this portion, we're playing with the downside, kind of almost a downside breakout, meaning that XAU, or the gold and silver index, may underperform gold. I think this could potentially reverse quite quickly, break back above this lower portion if we see gold get positive here. I am still a bull. I am remaining long in my shares, and I'm expecting and hoping, and remember, hope doesn't get you anywhere, but I'm hoping that this breaks back up and that gold moves to the upside. The market conditions are all at our backs. Doesn't mean just because we have the market conditions that we may have to wait another 5-6 months. It's a possibility. GDX, again, it broke to the downside of its trend line in the medium term, and we may have to wait for this to consolidate to move higher. The conditions are there. GDXJ, again, we broke to the downside of this upward trend line, and we're consolidating. SILJ, no difference here, broken to the downside, and we're consolidating. Consolidating means it may take some time for it to turn back up. Franco-Nevada, again, we've come through here. We broke the downtrend line. We broke this downtrend, and we're moving to a new uptrend. We're still in the uptrend. Wheat and precious metals is still in its original uptrend. Looking good. And Endeavor Silver went into this ascending wedge pattern and broke to the downside, and the majority of silver stocks are kind of putting in a bottoming consolidation pattern, I think. We did break this short-term downtrend line, just to show you guys that we did break through here. We did break through that downtrend there. So that's what I have for gold and silver today. I wanted to get you a big picture view on gold, silver, and platinum, kind of what they're doing. Are we going to see more downside? I don't know. To me, it looks like we're lining up. Gold is lining up to move higher. We have a bullish engulfing pattern. Bullish engulfing means that the candlestick, the body, engulfs the one before it. It means that we were coming down in a downtrend, we had a sharp reversal, and now the momentum's going up. I'm expecting gold to go higher. I'm looking for the dollar to go lower, and I'm looking for rates to go up. So higher rates, and this is over the medium to long term, not the short term. The short term, it can go anywhere. Medium to long term, like a 1 year to 10-year outlook, higher rates of inflation, and a weaker dollar. That will manifest in higher prices of gold and silver. In the short term, medium term, we've seen some weakness with these guys breaking down to the downside on some of the companies. But if gold breaks to the upside here, if we break 1840 and a close above 1840 and continue momentum higher, I think a lot of this stuff will change. We'll see this stuff to all turn around. But let's monitor it. Let's look at it on a day-to-day basis and see what happens. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. This is Finding Value.